Buddy Martin. Glad to be with you tonight. Coming up in just a minute. Got a good lineup for you. Our orange and blue blood guys tonight. Franz Beard will be here shortly. Franz been a very busy guy with his personal life and also battling a book. He's trying to get out of here soon. It's going to be a great one. Ben Troupe will be along later. Well, he's pretty his kind of show because the topic will feed right into what he likes to talk about. I'll tell you about that. Loren Meadows will join us as well tonight. So it's our regular lineup for Thursday night. It's going to be a good one. Thank you for all the thousands of new fans who've been tuning into the show. We sure appreciate that very much. The topic tonight is give me 2 or 3 things positive about these Florida Gators, who, by the way, open the season next week in practice.
Yes, it's time again for Buddy Martin. Call him up and tell him what you're thinking. But be kind because he's doing the best he can.
Better, stronger, faster.
Mama says that alligators are ornery because they got all them teeth but no toothbrush.
Hey, what if the voice calls while you're gone?
Take a message.
Bye.
You ready, champ? I'm ready for this my whole life.
I'm incapable of small talk. But that's why you love me, right?
Kind of intimidating to be in the presence of so many great athletes.
Evening. Welcome to you. Glad to be aboard tonight. It's been kind of a tough day. We've lost some really big names, the people that we know our age group this last couple of days. It's been a hard one. Ozzy Osbourne, I was not a fan, but many were. He passed away. Then a name you would not recognize, but we know him as the Hulk. Yeah, he passed away surprisingly at age 71. Hulk Hogan, and he had a rough go. So sad to hear about that. Didn't know he was even sick. Then today, a guy that I knew and loved in the 70s, his music, Chuck Mangione, was a flugelhorn player. He had some great music. Many of you might remember him. Some of you might be, most of you might be too young to. So some of the iconic people that we knew in show business, and as my friend said today, we better rap Willie Nelson and bubble wrap the way things are going. You know how they go in threes like that. So, but I had a great conversation this morning with Jeffrey Meldon. Guess where he was? In Amsterdam. He called me at 6:30. Off the charts, excited about the Florida Gators. Wants to know all about what's been happening. And of course, as we know, many things have been happening and lots of them are good. And thus tonight's topic, tell me 2 or 3 of the most positive things about the Gator football team in this upcoming 2025 season. And can you believe, Franz Beard, that it starts next week? Good evening to you, Franz.
Seems like we were in Florida's epitaph not all that long ago, and lo and behold, won 4 games in a row. And think that the Gators may be that spoiler team or that course team that could surprise maybe some. Yeah. I think expectations are for others that this is a Florida team that is very, very capable of winning 9, 10 games. If they get to 10 games, they're going to be in the playoff, buddy.
You start going and you catch yourself. I don't want to say it's drinking the orange and blue KoolAid, but the fact is I've been doing this for several months and you have too. And you start checking the boxes off and checking the boxes off and checking the boxes off. Next thing you know, you think you got all the boxes almost checked. You're thinking, can this football team be this good? Am I getting over my skis on this? Is a little bit too much positivity. You know what? And then I read Greg McElroy. he is on fire for the Gators. He thinks if their running game is going to be good, and by the way, it is, they could be a very strong team, maybe a 10-win game team, and he thinks the possibilities are endless for playoffs. And he's about as positive as we are, friends.
Well, I think that positive. I'll give you positive right off the bat. Florida's going to have the first time, I think, since Billy's been the head coach, to play ahead. And here's what playing ahead will do for you, as a certain guy named Steve Walker, as the head ball coach, used to say, when you play ahead, you take the other to throw the ball to try to catch up, and bad things happen for them. And you then have the ability to run the ball and force desperation. And it's going to be a very positive for the Gators. This is the first time in the 4 years that Billy's been here that they had the ability to play ahead. And that's going to be the entire season. When you play ahead, good things happen, buddy.
Yeah, and I want to apologize to our viewers. We're having a major storm here tonight. And all the communications have been very bad, and probably some down around you too. So if we're going in and out here, I'm sitting on the bay here, San Diego Bay, and we've had some dark clouds and big storms. And this afternoon, we were just getting a terrible time. So just hang with us. Hopefully you can hear Franz, be able to hear Ben Troupe, and be able to hear Lauren. We'll get through this tonight. This weather has been atrocious, and it is affecting all communications.
Are you sitting on the dock of the bay, by the way?
I am. Illustrating. Yeah. I'm sitting.
Watching the tide roll away?
Look right behind me. You can't see. They're all of it's reflections, but that is a bay right out there. It's a historical bay. A lot of things happen out there, not the least of which thousands of tons of salt were taken out of it for the Confederate Army to be able to preserve their meat. Because, friends, even although we weren't around then, they didn't have refrigeration. And so they had these smokehouses and salt. And that's how they kept their meat. And there's several plaques around this area here that said the ships coming from Panama City, coming from Punta Gorda down to Charlotte County up here to go to Jefferson Davis's home and to them to be able to supply the Confederate Army.
And by the way, you spoke about refrigeration. You're not far from where refrigeration was invented. John Gorey over at Port St. Joe.
You know what? I did not know that. Now, Port St. Joe, my wife lived there a long time. I did not. So the refrigeration was invented in Port St. Joe, huh?
Port St. Joe, Apalachicola, right in there. John
Apalachicola, I know. Well, that's interesting. Well, a lot of little factoids that you have there.
I'm loaded with them tonight, buddy.
And you are, and Dawn says you're correct. She says she didn't know that. So here's the deal. Let's go ahead and say this. I started out really putting a couple of things together that got me most excited about this football team, because you can call me whatever you want to, but we all like to see winning teams. And I'm going to get you and Ben and Lauren to sort of pull me back in. But positives, which should encourage you, Gator fans. And I'm going to throw out the first one, DJ Ladwig, because we all know about that. So a couple of little things here real fast. And I know where you stand on most of these, so I'll just throw a couple of these out there. Of course, they start the season with the SEC's longest winning streak. That's number one. That's a positive. That can give us some momentum. They got, and you talked about this a bunch, they're got perhaps the best offensive line in the league, if not the country, and maybe the best center in all of college football.
Definitely the best center.
Returning All-American from Ocala, Jake Slaughter, who's got to be right in there for those awards like the Remington Award for the best center, and of course the Outland, and he's returning All-American. So I'd say he's a pretty good anchor for a very promising offensive line. And then I'm going to one more, and I'm going to stop and let you join in or whatever. I can't say enough about this wide receiver room. I mean, the Wilson boys. I mean, Dallas Wilson. I don't know much about him except what I've seen in photos and a few videos. He's built like, a brick, what. He's fast. He's got great hands. He's
Yes, he
aggressive.
is.
And he is the guy. He is their guy who they think is just a slam dunk. So we know about him. We know about the other Wilson. And then we could go on with Sturdivant and what have you. And don't forget who the guy is. They have that room, Billy Gonzalez. So I would say when people say, well, Florida, does they got an offensive line? The quarterback can stay well. Let's see if they can block people, etc. And if they got any, but they probably don't have any wide receivers, France. They are loaded at wide receiver.
Well, they're not only loaded at wide receiver, they've got track speed to go with the best wide receivers coach in the country in Billy Gonzalez. And I wish everybody here would have a chance to watch Billy Gonzalez work out his wide receivers. I'll give you one little example. Last year, Billy's out there and he's working the wide receivers. And he gets on this kid. He says, it is 9.5 steps, not 10, not 9. And the kid kind of looks like, what's the big deal in a half step? He says, you get this half step and you cut off this guy's butt, and you've got a crossing pattern that's open. He says, you take the extra step. He says, then you got to veer around here and you're not open. Or you got to go around this way and you're not open. 9.5 steps. And he lectures the kid. And all of a sudden it's like, never dawned on me that. But he is so precise in how he gets these kids to practice. And what you do in practice, as you know, carries over to the ball games. It becomes instinctive. And that has been, I've known Billy for a lot of years, as you have. And the one thing Billy will tell you is when you do it enough times in practice, then it becomes instinctive to you. And then you just do it. You don't even have to think about it. I'll give you another good example of instinctive. We're talking about how instinctive works. Walter Clayton Jr., the last play of the game in Houston, he goes at an angle, goes up, makes sure the guy can't make the shot. He drops the ball. You ask him afterward, says, this is how we practice. It was instinctive. He didn't have to think about what he did. He did it. And this is what Billy does with the wide receivers. And when you get guys who are playing with instinct and not having to think about it, you got something good going. And this wide receivers room, I think, is going to, by the end of the year, top to bottom, is going to be the best in the SEC, and maybe one of the 2 or 3 best in the entire country, Billy. Buddy.
You're going to see a lot of players you're going to love, and you're right. And this is just based on what I'm hearing. Now, we'll get to go out next week and maybe see a little bit, not much. Talk to University of Florida today. They're all setting up for us this year. And, of course, the press conference day is Tuesday, and they put the pads on Wednesday, and you'll be able to see people on the hoof. What I've seen, both videos and photos, and I'm not one of these guys that just pours over these things looking for every muscle. But, you can't help but be impressed. I'm hearing really strong things, and we'll get into the secondary in a minute, which is still a question mark. Carmine McClain has totally remade his body. He's one of the fastest guys on the team. Remember, he was a walk-on because he didn't like where he was, and he left, and Billy took him as a walk-on. He's worked his way back up now, so he will be not just a factor, but he'll be a big factor in the secondary because he was a 5-star player, as you know. And now people say Florida didn't have 5 stars. Well, there's one right there. That's going to be very promising. By the way,
22 pounds of muscle more without affecting his speed.
Yeah, that's what they tell me. I'm sure you heard all these same stories that I have. Again, it's a disadvantage. As I said today to Scott Burns, we don't get to see much, but we do follow closely. And I don't want to promise him I can't deliver, Franz, but I'm excited about getting together with Scott and getting an interview with Ocala's own Mr. Slaughter. I thought about a great picture. There's a place on 10th Avenue there somewhere in Florida, Ocala. Take him over to 10th Avenue and have him slaughter on 10th Avenue. But you'd have to be a classical music fan to understand that. Rhapsody in Blue. But anyway.
I tell you one thing. When you mentioned that, it just came to me. I hate to interrupt you. But talk about NIL looking for a place to happen. If somebody from State Farm Insurance doesn't get this kid, give him the free insurance and have him pay him the money. Hi, I'm Jake from State Farm. This is Jake from State Farm.
What a guy! What a great player and what a great student and a model. And by the way, you're right. There's all kind. He had his first NIL deal himself as a freshman. You know what it was? It was a grill, one of the grills, like maybe Traeger or something. He called him up himself and said, "I'd like to do this. How do I do it?" They said, "Well, get some pictures of it. We'll send you one." And they did it. He got his own grill. So he's innovative too. So I love this kid. I don't know him. I'd like to know him. I think there's a good possibility. Scott said today they're going to fix me up with him to have a chance to have him on. And so anyway, a couple of notes here. David Baldoff says, to change the subject, Boogie Flan had hernia surgery, expected back from fall camp. What do you know about that?
It's nothing major. I mean, he'll be ready to go when school starts. Okay. Mm-hmm. It's nothing major, it happens to the best of us. I mean, I think probably you and I could probably go down to the doctor and say, find one, and he could find one, and we could have some surgery if that's what we were into.
Don't want that. And then also on baseball, I don't know much about this guy, but Menendez, the left-handed reliever, is now back in the portal, so that's not.
What he's talking about is Ernesto Lugo Canchola. He was the Division II Pitcher of the Year. He is a lefty who just throws absolute darts, doesn't walk people, strikes people out.
Well, that's not much to talk about, friends. This guy was on the squad, Menendez, in the bullpen. He went to the portal today.
Oh, yeah. Well, Frank Menendez did. Yeah, I thought he was talking about. I'm sorry, my mistake. I thought he was talking about, because I've been asked probably 50 times about this kid, Ernesto.
Go ahead and tell us about him while we get back to our football thing. Go ahead.
Ernesto Lugo Canchola, who was at Northwest Nazarene, the Division II Pitcher of the Year. He's a lefty, tall, lanky kid, throws absolute darts, doesn't walk people, throws strikes, and brings the heat. Throws in the mid-90s, and you get a lefty with the ball that moves that throws in the mid-90s, you got yourself an ace.
All right, so back to the matter of positives. And let me just say I had a chance to talk. Let me just stop right now and do a quick commercial, because this morning my phone rang at 6:30, and it was a call from Amsterdam. It was Jeffrey Meldon, who's on that world tour, and he'll be under 3 weeks. And he was so excited. What's the latest on the football team? What's happening? What's going on with recruiting? And we had a nice conversation. I think he called me from the Amsterdam airport. And he
wound up in Sebastian, Spain, which is where I talked to him from.
Right, because that's where his relatives are. So you did get a hold of. I talked to him about you and said you wanted to chat with him and talk to him about the upcoming basketball book you're doing. And so anyway, so I just want to tell you, he's. I can't say enough good things about this. Not because he's my sponsor. That too, we're grateful. But just what he does to the university, and he and guys like Freddie Wiebe at Spurrier's, they're just giants when it comes to helping out the University of Florida. Of course, they're an official law firm of the University of Florida Melvin Law. They have 4 locations to serve you: Ocala, Gainesville, Wilson, Lake City. And go by and see a Meldon and talk a little ball. Don't forget to get involved in their Facebook page this fall, because they give away a lot of good stuff, a lot of tickets. So Meldon Law, they don't back down. Franz, give me something. One of your points that you like on your on what you are you there, friends? I lose you. I guess there he comes back. All right. All right. I didn't know. Oh, wait a minute. That's not Franz. I was talking to Franz and I clicked it. Wait a minute. All right, wait a minute. Franz is back too. All right. All right, here we go. Right here. We got Franz. We got Ben Troupe. We got it all going on. And I think our weather is cleared up enough to be able to have a conversation. We'll just backtrack here and go back and pick up where we were. Tonight, Ben, good evening to talk to you. We're going to see, one of my friends said to me, y'all give too long answers. I said, okay. He said, please shorten them down. You have your round table. Shorten them down. Okay. We're going to try to do that. So everybody gets a minute and a half to 2 minutes. And that's it. We have to switch it up. But unless there's more reason, then we'll go longer if we have to. But good evening to you, Ben. And Franz and I are having a good conversation about the positive things of this football team. And they open, as you know, next week. When you start talking about what you like about this football team, it gets hard to stop. And I know you got a bunch. I just started out with a couple things. I talked about being too positive, being and drinking the KoolAid. And I said, my gosh, see Greg McElroy. He's gone bananas over his team. He thinks you're terrific. So I didn't just drink the orange and blue KoolAid. But we started talking about, obviously, we obviously know the quarterback situation. The running backs are terrific. We talked about Jake Slaughter. And then we stopped. And Franz, did you want to pop one in before Ben?
The first thing I had said was they're going to have the first positive I have is the Gators are going to be able to play ahead this year for the first time since Billy's been here. They're going to be able to get the lead and play ahead. And they haven't had that before. And as you know, Ben played on those Spurrier teams and he knows what it's like. You get ahead and then it's cruise control. You know, you make the other team, you run the ball, you make the other team make the mistakes and you go in for the kill. The second thing that I want to point out to is as my positive is I think Florida has 4 linebackers who can flat out play with anybody, anywhere, anytime. In Pup Howard, Miles Graham, who was his dad was one of Ben's teammates. I'm dating you there, Ben. You're getting old, buddy. You know, Aaron Childs and Jaden Robinson. Florida's got 4 stud linebackers who can play for any team in the SEC and start for any team in the SEC. We've had 1 or 2 good ones. We got 4 now. That is huge for the Gators. And they got some young kids as well, I think, that are going to be pretty good. But having 4 great linebackers and a team that can play ahead, those are my 2 positives, buddy.
Well, that's one of the ones on my list. I got my column I work on tomorrow, and that's one of the ones my points to is the linebackers. When people say, wait, about what about their defense? They have any linebackers? Oh, yeah. They got some linebackers, and you're right. They got some that are going to be really, really good. All right, Ben, throw me out a couple of positive points about this football team that you like.
The number one positive thing I think jumps out is you had a solid off season. There wasn't anything we were trying to talk over because it was like, is it Billy Napier? Who's going to be the starter? How we look at? No, you got a positive off season. You got a guy in DJ Lagway who everybody wants to play with and everybody wants to play for. Talk about friends. Talk about being able to play with a lead. This team is going into this all season, get ready for 2 days coming up soon. And they high on the fact that, dude, our quarterback is healthy. Because nothing gave me more confidence going into every season with Florida because of who we had in the center. And that's taking nothing away from anybody else. I played with Alex Brown, Lito Shepherd, and Ty Johnson. I played with some boys. But guess what they say? Take us home. Take us there, Rex. Take us there, Chris. Because no matter what, that's who's going to get you there. Number 2, and I think main thing is, boy, Billy Napier finally got his dudes. You see what happened when he got his dudes? And I know he kind of showed a little bit more looseness when he was at SC Media Days. When I got my starters and I got solid depth coming behind them, that's a football team. Because unfortunately, and this is excluding the quarterback position, you're gonna have either nicks or some injuries. You're gonna have some. Well, if I got depth, I'm gonna be all right. Cause that's why you need to have solid guys backing up. And I'm gonna keep saying it. The law offices of Wilson and Wilson are open 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. Anything you need. Listen, this ain't Meldon law. It's an extension. It's an extension of Meldon law. It's called Wilson and Wilson. They haven't got their law degree, but just when they put on them jerseys, I'm just saying, I just feel good about this team because they have solid ones and solid twos. When you got that, you got to try to be really, 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 really good. And I did see what Greg McElroy said. I heard what Cole Kubick said. It's not hype if you can back it up. It's only hype when you can't. That's all I'm saying.
Okay, good. I'm going to stop you right there. And I want to respond to this, and then I'm going to let Franz and then you, one of our loyal followers say, whoever this is, I don't know this person, says tight end is a weakness. No, Tony Gamachachia, whatever your name is, I'm sorry. I don't mean to butcher your name. It's not a weakness. You have obviously seen Hayden Hansen and Tony Livingston and others who are going to be a force. They'll be very much a part of this offense. In my opinion, it will not be a weakness. In fact, it might be a strength. Franz, am I wrong?
I think the people are going to be surprised by the tight ends. And Hayden Hansen, I think, is going to have an absolute outstanding year. Caught 15 balls last year. Would have gotten a few more, except I think Florida was in a situation last year where they felt they had to run some more because you got to make up for the fact that DJ was a freshman and you didn't want to put him in a position to make too many mistakes. But when they threw him the ball, he made the catches and he made the yards after it. Hayden Hansen and Tony Livingston, I think this is going to be his breakout year. Tony Livingston's hero is Ben Troupe, and we all know that. And so
he reached the high.
He's been practicing leaping over people in a single bound. So this is a thing. Florida's got some tight ends, and I got to tell you something else. They got a kid here named Amir Jackson, who is going to be an absolute stud. They got another kid that they brought in from Madison, Mississippi, named Micah Jones. Florida's got tight ends. Promise you, Florida's got tight ends, and this is going to be a year when they use the entire field and they use the entire receiving core. It's going to happen.
It's a great thing to have for a young quarterback and have a tight end bailout. Well, let's talk to a guy who might have played that position and see what he thinks, what he knows about these tight ends and what he thinks about them. And I think it's a very big part of what Billy Napier does, Ben. Am I right?
You're 100% correct. And I agree with everything Franz said, and I'll add to it. You never, ever want to recruit the same guy twice. That's why Hayden don't look like Tony and Tony don't look like Amir. I don't need three of the same guys. I need three different guys. I think I had a chance to sit down with Hayden Hansen. I said, man, who do you pattern your game after? He said, I'm big like Gronk, and I'm a clumsy athlete like him. He said, I'm not going to outrun nobody, but I'm not. He said, I'm a bull in a china shop. I'm going to catch it, and I'm going to run over everybody with a different color. Tony Livingston, he's going to add to that. He showed kind of showed what he can do against Florida State last year. Really, really smooth. And Amir, I mean, there are certain guys that they got gifts. I think Amir got some gifts. It's going and once he put it all together, I like Micah as well. I think with the tight end position, it's gonna say they're gonna be waving saying, "Hey, we here too." We listen. I played with guys. I played with Reshape and Jabbo and Taylor and Carlos and Kite. I know what it's like having studs on the outside. I had to say, "Hey, we over here too," and that's all the tight end really want to do. I don't need to be a focal point. I just need to be a part of the game plan. That's it. And when my number's called, make plays and go back to doing what I'm doing. Because Hayden Hansen showed last year, I think it was against UCF. You know what I'm saying? He showed what he can do. But I like the fact that all four guys know what they bring to the table. Nobody's trying to outshine nobody. When you come into Florida and you understand, I'm not trying to take nobody's spot. I'm trying to develop a role for myself. I think the tight end position is going to be a great addition. And like I said, with so much attention on the outside, tight end's going to get one-on-ones. You can't double everybody. And that's what I'm looking forward to. I don't got to be the biggest, fastest, strongest. I got to get open on one dude. Is that Ed Reed over there? No. Is that Troy? Is that Troy Polamalu over there? Is that Reggie Nelson over there? No, I can get open on them. I think those guys are going to have a big year this year because they're going to make catches when it matters, when it counts. And I think they're going to be a great addition. And I guarantee you, like we said, they're going to be no 1,000-yard receiver. But when you spread the ball around, that's what make an offense balance. I think we're going to add the balance to the offense.
Hey, Ben, how big is Hayden Hansen? Just tell these people how big he is.
I mean, what's all of 6'6", 270. I mean, Hayden Hansen is one of those type of people. You have to see him in person. Like you walk up to him and your head gonna go like this. Oh yeah, he's up there. I mean, Hayden's up there. Hayden is I want to say Kyle Pitts was 6'6", but he was slim. He was very slender, like 245. Listen, I told Hayden, I said, man, keep eating them potatoes, man. You need to eat carbs, young man. I don't want to hear no vegan stuff. We need you thick. We need you a little thicker. That's all.
Good stuff. Yeah. Go ahead, Franz.
I think Hayden Hansen, having that guy who's 6'6", 6'7", maybe even 6'8". Well, I guess he is 6'8" in his cleats, and most guys do wear them when they play. I think this is a guy that, you know, you look for a bailout guy, and these big tight ends are bailout guys in so many cases. And some of their biggest plays are bailout plays. When you're 6'7", 6'8", and you're 275 pounds, trust me, you make a good bailout target. It's hard.
A young quarterback needs that a lot. And I think he will be, just knowing he's there, he can get 6 or 7, anytime. And I think that's a big deal. And we'll get to the receivers in a minute because I am really, really high on these receivers.
I never guessed.
And I hope Tony is satisfied there with Ben's answer. Good comments, friends, from Ben, who might know a thing or two about the tight end position, by the way. All right, let's get to one of the topics because Loren's coming. And I know Loren's going to want to talk about wide receivers. Of course, you want to know wide receivers. Okay. We'll do that. But let's pick. You got any one thing, Franz? I got several. Hold off with the defense for a moment. Let's talk running backs, okay? You guys know how I feel about Jaden Ball. Ball. I mean, is he was Francine just slinging Sammy Ball? I don't think so. TCU. One of my boys.
Maybe the greatest punter in the history of the NFL. People don't realize, and maybe the greatest defensive back as well.
Yeah, he did a lot. He was a good.
He played it all.
TCU, he loved him. And there's 3 guys over there I want you to talk about. You don't need to tell them. Well, you can tell them. Jaden Ball is the stud. They identified him that, if you remember, Ben, last year as the guy you're going to have to watch. And I don't know why, but he stuck with me after seeing that big guy run and watching him hit people and watching him high step. And he's fast. A guy that big to be that fast, that's a weapon, okay? And then you got Jacoby Jackson. We can't forget about him because he's got some scoots and he can run the football. Let's see who else, friends. KD
Daniels, who is
Tryon Webb, right?
KD Daniels is 50, somewhere between 11 and 15 pounds heavier than he was. And they redshirted him last year for a reason, and that's to get some physical strength and some durability. Playing running back in this league is not an easy thing. You're going to get, if you're not big and strong and able to take the punishment, especially with a team that your running game is built on play action, which means you're running behind you're running from the tackles inward. Yeah. And you better have guys that are strong to do that. And KD Daniels is now about probably up there around 210. He's going to be a stud this year. And as Loren tells us, don't sit on Treyon Webb. Okay.
And I quote from Jabbar Jalook himself.
I leave the lead and I just gave you.
Yep, that was the quote from Jabbar Jalook himself in the spring as they were asking about different backs. Obviously, Jacoby Jackson, Jaden Baugh. They even mentioned KD Daniels. But as I was leaving the facility, Jalook pulled me aside and said, hey, man, do not forget about Treyon Webb. So I know a lot of people talk about, talk about the big guy, I would say the big two, maybe even, but Trayon Webb will factor in. And I would even go a step further to say maybe the first running back to run out with the first team against Long Island. That's how strongly I think Jaluk feels about Webb.
Yeah, I think I know from France he's got some things to it. So let me give him his final comment, and then we'll let him go. And then we're going to break down the receivers. Ben, we're going to talk a little bit about the defense, okay? You prepared to do that? And I think that all these boxes can be checked off, and we haven't even gotten to the coaching staff. So over the next few minutes, and I'll stop here and take a little break and tell you about some of my sponsors. But let's give Francis overall goodbye message here and about the positives of this football team.
This is going to be a good football team. And, they're going to, the difference between, say, being a 9-win team or a 10 and 11 win team is you get a break here and there. If they get a break here and there, they're going to go from 9 and they're going to take that next step this year. This is a team that has an SEC roster. First time we've been able to say that in a long daggum time, buddy. And when you got an SEC roster and you got the depth to go with it, everybody's got 22 players. The teams that win 5-6 games have 33. The teams that can win 9 have 44. If you got beyond those 44, you can win that. And that's where we're going to find out this year. If the Gators have numbers 45 through, say, 52, 53, they're going to be there. They're going to be a playoff team. But we know that, I'll tell you right now, they got 44 guys that can play. And that's where you start.
And a pretty good coaching staff, I think, at Tech. Now, I'll let you go with that, Franz. Final comments on the coaches, and then we're going to move to Lauren, and then Ben, we're going to break down a couple of things, not the least of which is going to be the defense. Final thing, Franz.
The coaching is going to be just fine. He's got stability on his staff, and I think he pulled off a couple of really good moves last year. He only had one, he lost his secondary coach, but I think he made up for that one in the, the offensive staff is complete again. And I think it's going to make a difference with Ron Roberts as your play caller on defense.
All right, we'll leave it right there. We're going to talk Ron Roberts. Thank you, Francis. You got to go. Go ahead. All right. Thank you. And let me tell you folks about our good friends at Titan MRI and Imaging, and then we'll get back to the matter of these things like the defense. And I know, Lauren, I saved the wide receivers for you, Lauren. And the topic
appreciate that.
the show tonight is about what are the points that you get most excited about when you talk about the 2025 games. But first, let me tell you what I'm excited about. Is our friends at Titan MR and Imaging. I've talked a lot about Joe Colorio and all the great work he did at Highfield. Thing about them is they have 3 locations. I'm going to have 4 soon. Going to have one in here in Ocala near me. Survey 2 in Gainesville with Park Avenue location and Millennium Center, one in Lake City, serving all of Columbia County and Valdosta. Why is that important? Because these guys will even got big guys like Ben Troupe. We're not going to go in and get a Titan and get an MRI. It's always a little scary getting that too. And they have the bigger cages for you. They also have the best customer service thing going for you if you need a little help in terms of their programs. You can use your insurance, or it's a possibility you might be able to work a deal out through their own personal financing. They will do it for you. Joe Colorio, they're heavily involved in that. And they just want you to know that they are all up in north central Florida now, soon coming to Marion County. They will continue to lead north central Florida. They'll focus on expanding and access to health care, reducing costs of diagnostic imaging, providing cutting-edge solutions to meet the needs of healthcare professionals and their patients while positioning itself for future expansion. That's Titan MRI and Imaging. Check it out near you. It's a place you want to know about. All right. Lauren, you want to talk receivers? And Ben, you want to talk defense first?
No. I'm listen, I always love to hear because listen, I call them the law offices of Wilson and Wilson. Even though you got BB3, you got Khalil Jackson, you got Ada Mizell, I just listen. I won't that because people be thinking Lauren be talking about the receivers too much. I don't talk about them enough. How about that?
Yeah, you're right, because they are going to be a weapon, Lauren.
Yeah, I mean, you got the law offices of Wilson, Brown, and Sturdivant and Associates. Because, yeah, I mean, it's iron sharpens iron, man. It's gonna be practice is gonna be fun. I mean, you got guys like, I mean, people talk about Wilson and VB3, but you forget, you know, Aiden Mizell has made some plays.
Flyer.
I mean, you got to think before Lagway got hurt in the Georgia game, he had that last touchdown pass. I mean, he's shown an ability to make plays. I mean, you got the young bucks, you know, and Abrams and Hawkins. I mean, there's so many guys that have the ability to affect the game.
Tank Hawkins, nobody's talking about him. I'm saying,
yeah, I mean,
pressing an amazing amount of weight. He's a stout. I mean, he's a real strong kid. And he's very, very fast.
Yeah, I mean, super fast, and that's the thing. So, I mean, they got a 4x1 team on the outside. I mean, yeah, you know, Tank is put on muscle. I mean, he nor Abrams are going to be huge guys, but they remind you a lot of Brandon James and the way that he was able to affect the game. But yeah, I mean, you look at guys like Wilson and Sturdivant, 6'3", 216 pounds. Dallas Wilson, 6'3", 210 as a freshman going in. I mean, the ability to just get open at a consistent clip with that running game, which is going to bring those safeties up, and the ability to get over the top, throw over the middle, and things like that, and then give those guys the ability to use their talent with the ball in their hands. And we already know, I mean, the route run is going to be crisp. They're going to block on the perimeter, which is going to help. And like Ben has said a million times, it really doesn't matter what you have at Florida because of who's coaching them. And then, you know, later in the season, you talk about added depth. You know, Khalil Jackson, I don't think he'll be quite ready for the beginning of the season, maybe limited in camp. But you talk about those big games late in the season when you go to Ole Miss, you play in Tennessee at home, you know, even maybe, you know, for the Texas game or some of those games after on the road at Kentucky. And now you got that veteran leadership to come in and give you some plays as well, you know. So you really got a lot of guys that have made plays in big games. And then you add a Dallas Wilson, a J. Michael Sturdivant, who has drawn rave reviews from day one, and then a healthy, hopefully throughout the season, Eugene Wilson III, Trey Wilson. And then you got it all.
All right, some people want to talk about the defense. I mean, I think it should be vastly improved. I mean, don't even think about Sunseri, what he might bring to the secondary. But the guy, Ron Roberts, just now he's getting his legs under him. And he's got some players over there. We mentioned defense. We mentioned Carmani McClain to help with the secondary. And I think the defense could go, if they can make, Ben, 2 stops a game. 2 stops a game. How much would that be worth?
It's going to be worth a lot. I mean, it's going to be getting out. If they could just play complementary defense, get off the field on third down, like just and they're gonna be able to get some stops. They're gonna definitely be able to get some turnovers because they got it at all 3 levels. You talk about Sapp, you talk about Banks, you talk about Pup, you talk about Miles. I mean, McClain. I mean, I just think that this whole defense as a whole is the strength of a defense is always going to start up front. I don't care what you got in that, in that secondary, and we got it. As much as I love Sapp and Banks, Gums is the energy guy. He's the guy. Yeah. He got the motor, right? Pup is going to be the guy that, Grace, he going to get the defense set up. Miles can do anything. He can cover receivers if you need him to. He can blitz if you need him to. I was blessed enough this week to talk to Earl Everett. Everybody, 2006, he led the team in tackles, and he said when he went up to Coach Strong, he asked him, "Man, why don't you let me blitz more?" He said, "Because you are our best cover guy." And listen, you ain't here for that. You got specialty guys on defense, guys that built to do certain things. That's what make a defense good. When they go, "Why don't they let you?" That ain't what I do. Well, and I think that's kind of how they built this defense. Once again, just like I said about the tight ends, I don't recruit the same guy, even if I'm recruiting for the same position. I don't need both guys to do everything. And I think these quarterbacks ain't gonna have a lot of time in their pocket. I just don't. Caleb he gonna wreak havoc in the middle. You talk about the two guys on the outside, and I need linebackers that can do two things. I need to be able to run and hit. Because you can teach a guy how to cover that zone. But Miles, you can put Miles on a guy. Hey man, I need you to take this dude away. Before you even get to our secondary.
Yeah, man coverage. Yeah.
I just think that because you had guys like Tyreek Sapp who have grown through the highs and lows, he goes, look, dude, we got to get lined up and go play. Get lined up and go play. And once again, we talking about depth. Just like the receivers got depth, our D-line has depth, which means guys don't got to play every snap. Listen, the days of guys playing 60 snaps on defense, no. Give me 35, 40 snaps. Let them youngins get in behind me, and I got to make it count. So I like our defense because once again, we got guys that's been here, that's seen it.
Caleb Banks, man.
Listen, DJ Lagway, Jaden Ball, Miles Graham, being able to play as a true freshman, that's rare. That means that, dude, I'm ready to play straight out of high school. I think because we got a mixture of veterans and youngins, and all these guys are ready.
Yeah.
I think our defense, they respect our offense, but they say, hey, dude, we can be the leaders of this team too now. We can be led on this side of the ball. No one said we couldn't. But I just like our depth, and I like the fact that it ain't gonna be too big for nobody on defense because if you're a young guy, you got guys gonna bring you along. But you guys like Sapp, Sapp and Banks didn't come back because they want an NIL money. I'm telling you that right now. These boys, they want to win. I'm looking forward to it.
That's important, Loren, wanting to win, and I think they got that little thing going for them. They got a lot of pride. You hear them talking about it, and Sapp could be a monster, but it's not just about one guy. It's a team defense. How good can this defense be, Loren?
It could be really good. They've got talent. It's really been the case of the last 3 years it's been an underperforming defense. It's been a defense that I think had the tools and was always a step slow, always a little bit misaligned, never in connection with, you heard me say it on this show and others. You play defense on a string. I'm in the alley, you on the edge, I'm holding firm while you rush the edge. All those things go together. I'm in my third while you in the hat, you in the cut, you're right there. You squatting and I'm over the top. We got all those things, and now it's all put together. You talk about guys, Jordan Castell, now his third year in the defense. He's really starting to come into his own. You saw guys like Aaron Gates, Bryce Thornton, Sharif Denson. Those guys really take the next step. If Devin Moore can stay healthy for a full year, I've heard as high as a first or second round draft pick for him. LJ McCray. I think LJ McCray more than anybody.
There's a guy
is
right
going to
there.
take is going to take the next step because of that ability. I always like those guys that I'm a DN, but I'm a hooper too. I got those feet. I'm light on my feet. I can do a lot of. They can move me around. I can do a lot of things, and this defense could be really good. I think they've got the messaging correct. And we talked about, and it's funny, Buddy, how people that listen to the Buddy Martin show, if they can go back and remember us talking about the way they practice is losing them football games. Then Billy Napier comes out after the Mississippi State game and says, in the off week, we started to do things differently in practice. And I think the biggest beneficiary of that was the defense. You saw a more physical defense. You saw a more organized defense. And not only were they rushing the passer and getting sacks, they were starting to create turnovers and things like that. And I think that carryover for what they were able to do that last half of the season has really elevated this group from a confidence standpoint. And I think they're dialed in for sure.
Some players can elevate you. Some players can take you on a quantum leap. Just mentioned one, Loren there. What other players been on defense, if they play their best and play together, that they could elevate this team to a championship level? And that's what we're talking about now. We all think they win 8 or 9, but what can get them over the hump, or can they, or do they have no talent? Ben, what do you think?
I think what Lauren just said about a guy like Devin Moore, because he's due, right? He you know what he's capable of. It's the injury bug. And Devin Moore, is a guy that I'm really, really rooting for because I dealt with some injuries when I was in college as well. But I think that LJ McCray is a guy I be trying to keep it. He reminds me a lot of Jarvis Moss. That's what he real long, lanky, right? And once again, people go, why do sometimes the second guys play a little better than the first guy? Because I got limited snaps. I ain't got but 20 or 15. So when I come in, I'm not playing. And once again, I just think that a guy like Gums, we get Gums out of junior, we get him #1 junior college defensive end. People saying, I like motor guys. I like guys that are talented, but they got a motor. They just keep going. Florida has so much talent top to bottom on this defense. It's something that Stephen Harris told me. He said the reason why we was good under Urban Meyer and under Coach Strong, they showed us where the ball can't go. Forget where it's going. It can't even go over here. So why even focus on a part of the field? And it's if everybody where they're supposed to be and the safety got to come down the middle, dude, just run the alley. He's right. He ain't got nowhere to go. It's you and him. I think really, really good defense is when, dude, just do your job first. Look, football is hard when you make stuff up. Just don't make stuff up. Alignment, assignment, read and react. Listen, see ball, hit ball, and hit it over and over. That's when football is fun. And I think for this defense now, what they're doing is saying, hey, we don't got to be complex when we do the simple things right. You got to be complex when you don't. I think we try to get so complex, dude. Let's just do the simple things. Let's line up. Let's get after the football. And if I were DBs, I'm gonna keep saying this. If we could just track the ball in the air, I always got to pick it off. Just track it and watch what start happening. Listen, one play, it'll be a trickle effect. When you make a play, make another play, and next thing you know, we coming out of games talking about the defense. Yeah. Because the last thing any opposing team want to deal with, they know about DJ, they know about the law officers and associates, they know about the running game, they know about Jake Slaughter being rated the #1 offensive lineman. All of a sudden, they was like, but this defense real good. Because a great offense can call for a good defense. A great defense, you win championships. You got a great D, because if they can't score, they can't win. So I like our defense this year for one simple reason, dude. We getting back to basics. We're just getting back to the basics, and guys want to be coached. I
got you. Good comments. All right, we're going to have about 5 minutes here. I'm going to take about 60 seconds of it, and I'm going to let you guys each have 2 minutes to finish up with here. My topic is going to be, you mentioned the little details, lining up right number of people on things, and I'm going to bring up special teams. I did a thing the other night. I said, Florida's going to be a 8 or 9 win team. They got to get somewhere another game and a half win somewhere. And I started ticking off the places they could get those wins. And one of them is special teams. If they line up right, the right position, and they got a heck of a kicker. I mean, Trace Mack, it should have been a linebacker, that name. Trace Mack, and, he can win you some games.
Yeah.
You're going to be in some close games. They got a really good snapper. And the punter is a transfer from Michigan. I haven't seen him yet, but I think their special teams can win us some games, especially if they're now getting it right by getting the people lined up. So right there is a half a game if they just play well. All right, Ben, you take 2 minutes, and Lauren, you close it up in 2 minutes. They line up, start next week. What do you think needs to be the message to these Gators?
When they line up next week, man, the message for the Gators is simple and plain, man. I know they got spot the ball, but they was like, listen, fellas, just do me 2 things. If you're not going to be the reason we win, don't be the reason we lose, period. If you're not going to be the reason we win, just don't be the reason we lose. Well, Coach, who am I? Figure it out. Be right there in the middle. Because I think with this team, right, I think they've realized you Florida, you the biggest brand in the state. You cannot hide. You don't want to hide, but you can't. Let's be known for what we do, not just where we at. Because right now, you're known for where you at. Florida, you're going to be a big brand no matter what. And Coach Billy Napier has done everything he said he was going to do from a standpoint of helping these players, from the food to the parking to the facilities. Now, hey man, in the words of Deion Sanders, hey man, I want something back. I mean, I just do. And I think for this team this year, you got everything. You got the recruits coming in. You got the guys on campus. You got DJ. You got an O-line. You got a D-line. You got new coaches. Brandon Spikes, I mean, he about to get his what is he about to get his doctorate? He ain't leaving. I think he's on the staff right now. Listen, and what you have done, which is always the final piece is winning the national championship. You got the culture. It is here because it takes a while, but I think you got it. Now, it started last year going 8-5 with the hardest schedule. What we got this year, buddy? And Lauren, we got the hardest schedule again. We just traded UCF for USF. I got it. I think now you saying, hey fellas, you got to prove it, man. Like I said, when I was at Florida, our practice field was called Proving Grounds. You got to prove it. And I think for these guys, I think they want to prove it. I think they want to be more than just known for where they at. I want to be known for what I've done. And it's what Ricky Pearsall told me when I talked to him. I said, why did you come back? He says, I want to be in the record books for wide receivers. I don't want to just say I played wide receiver. You want people to remember you for the position you played, the team you was on, and how y'all finished.
Good stuff, Ben. All right, Lauren, take us home. And what do you tell the players? What's your message to them as they start next week?
Well, anybody that has watched the Swamp series that comes out on YouTube that Florida produces, there's a clip, and it's Tyreek Sapp before a game saying, I'm going to do my job for you boys today. And he keeps reciting it and just saying it out loud. That is the message from day one. Everybody do their job. If everybody does their job, film study, playbook study, behaving properly, doing all the little things right. And then when we get out the field, like we said, it's all about those 12 Saturdays. Everybody take that edict from Sapp and say, I'm going to do my job for you boys today. If everybody does their job and knows that 12 Saturdays means 12 street fights with this schedule, 12 street fights, you ready to go, you ready to knuckle up. Like I always said, it's a big boy game. I mean, I played on the outside, but it's rough out there too. You got to be ready to go. And if they commit to that from day one and basically know that iron sharpens iron, try to kill each other in practice, knowing that that's going to make them better for Saturdays, I think this is going to be a really good football team. It's physically, they got every tool in the tool bag. Now it's just about execution and getting it done.
15 seconds apiece on Billy Napier and his coaching staff. Is he the guy to get it done, Ben?
If he's not, I don't know who is. So yes, he is the guy to get it done because he's done it through trial by fire. He's willing, and he's made some hard decisions along the way in getting rid of guys like Captain Chaos and Corey Raymond. He ain't just got here. So yes, I do think he's the guy because he built it. He built it through scrutiny, and now he got his guys. Now we're gonna see it. Now, no excuses this year. No excuses.
That's right, Lauren. That's exactly right. Let's get it done. I'm tired of talking about it. Let's get it done. This is the year. He got to get in there with 8 or more wins. 8's not even enough. And 9.
Yeah,
I think he's got the staff. He can just win. They got to win, right?
He definitely, I've talked about it. I think the assistants have always been there, and I think he has learned some things in the previous 3 years that he, like I said, I think the way they were practicing, he learned to correct that. And I think it's going to pay dividends. I think him changing his view of things in the way that they were going about their preparation is really what we're going to look back. And when Billy Napier has been at Florida 7, 8, 9 years and is building consistent winners, I think we're going to point to that look in the mirror after that Mississippi State game where we were all in Starkville, came back, man, are they going to lose to UCF? Saw a different team, and then the reflection of we had to change the way we prepared. And I think we're going to look back on that.
Loren Meadows, low down on Tuesday night. Ben Troupe, 84 Reasons. Guys, great job. Great having you on. All right. Appreciate it.
All right. Thanks a lot, buddy. My man.
All right, we're gonna wrap it up now with final comment. On Tuesday, I'll be at practice and be able to report to you live there. And also we'll be at Tony Barnhart's retirement party coming up this this Saturday night. I'll be emceeing that up in Gainesville at Spurs Gridiron Grill. So it's going to be quite a weekend and quite a time, and very honored to be able to do that. Congratulations to Tony on 50 years of service, and certainly look honored to do that. All right, guys, good night. Thank you very much.
All right, thank you.
Appreciate it. All right. So,
All right.
all right.